What's up, YouTube? It's your main man, AB the Hero, back again with another video. And today I want to talk about this story and to give you the true situation as far as I know it to be, and as far as that I would love to share with y'all information on the Jordan Hollywood Ray, the whole DKM thing, all of that stuff of the fraud and the truth and the facts and all of that stuff. And how I feel about it personally. And I want to make this video today because somebody hit me over the weekend and was like, yo, could you talk about it? A couple people hit me, and this is something that I felt like, honestly, I thought that would be dead or have died out by now, but this is a story that has continued, and there's a lot of folks who are extremely interested in talking about this this subject. And so I just want to get into that with y'all today. All right, and so let me give y'all some tips on how I'm gonna try to format this video. So we live right now, you know what I'm saying? I hadn't done a live stream in a while, and I was gonna make a video about it. I was like, man, let's get to live stream so that way we could chat and talk about all of this stuff, and maybe I can answer some questions. So I'm gonna give y'all the information that I got first, and then we'll try to get some questions in towards the end. And then, so what I'll do is, I don't want this to be like a whole hour live stream, so I'm gonna try to shoot for between 10, 15 to 20 minutes, somewhere around there. And then hopefully we'll wrap this up. And you know, if y'all want to hit that super chat, then you know I'm gonna go ahead and stop whatever I'm doing to answer those questions from the super chat. But let's get into this. All right. So just recently, the NBA Combine released the official list of players who were invited to the NBA Combine. Sad to say that there was no JBA players on that list of folks who was going to the Combine. Now, as you would know, it was in the media. Actually, a lot of people picked this up when Jordan Ray first announced, or it was announced that Jordan Ray got the Combine invite back in like November. All right. I think Unique Sports did some stuff about it. The DKM dude did a video about it, and there's just a lot of coverage about that topic. All right, and then so kind of, which all of that, and that was really the thing that I felt like was the thing that got people to calling or making these videos about Jordan Ray and questioning whether or not he was going to tell the truth. The Combine is coming up in the next couple of days. Right now they're doing the G League. Like basically, if you're a G League player, you can play in, or if you're somebody who gets invited to this G League tournament, you can play into getting a spot at the NBA Combine. So that's what's happening now. But the official NBA Combine is coming up here shortly. All right, so here's what I wanted to say. And before I get into this story, I just want to talk about like why to me this felt like a non-story, right? Is because when you really go back to the beginning of this whole thing, it started with this article that came out let's do this. It started with this JBA profile, right? And the JBA profile had all of this information about it and Jordan Ray, and at the time nobody knew who Jordan Ray was, so nobody cared, right? And then so as time went on, Jordan Ray began to become a baller, household name. A lot of the time on a Ball in the Family TV show, we started to see him like JBA USA balling and doing his thing. More people began to care, check in. So back even the summer, I think that there were folks like questioning his JBA profile, and this was a thing going way back. All right, I really didn't look into any of that because it none of that mattered to me, right? And there was this thing where when we go back to, if you look at the videos that I did from the tryouts, right, of before the JBA started, I talked about how one of the big things that was funny to me was a lot of players who were older lying about their age in hopes to get a tryout, right? And I talked about in that Chicago trial, they had a whole thing where Big Ren was like, how many of y'all, because it was, if you over 19, you were not supposed to be able to try out. How many of y'all are 19? About 20 kids stand up and say that they're actually older than 19 years old. They bring them over to the side and they look at the group of guys who were under the age of 19. And then they said to him, all right, if you guys will let you try out if you're a bit older, but in order for you to make it, you're going to have to dominate. Like, in order for us to say we're going to take this older kid, then you really got to be somebody who is a dog. So I already told you that the age thing was a concern that they were having, or issue that they were having from the inception of like the JBA and the trials and all of that stuff. But then it became something that just nobody cared about, right? If you look at the actual final rosters of players, there were guys much older than 19 who ended up playing through the season. There were guys older than 19 who ended up playing on JBA USA. So when people started questioning Jordan's age, it didn't matter to me, because one of the dudes, Solomon Zaze, was like 23 years old. He's playing for the Dallas. It's not pre-recorded, the goods. He was playing for the Dallas Ballers, and he was like 23 years old. Like I said, all right. I think Neon Weck was 21 or 22. So you had some older guys. So the whole age thing, it just ended up being the connection bad. Let me see. Let me see, man. If the connection bad, you might have to catch it on the comeback. Let me see, man. Let me try to get the connection on my side to say that it's busting out the gym. All right. So let me see. Let me get back to what I'm saying. All right. So that was that was a thing that nobody really cared about, because the players and their ages end up kind of being thrown out the window once they realized that they really needed to get guys who had a certain level of talent and ability to play the game, right? And trying to get a bunch of 18-year-olds who are fresh out of high school to play high-level professional basketball was going to be very hard to do. So with that, so that's why the age thing never bothered me anyway. And then when it came out that it was just, people started writing these articles about the NBA draft combine, and then it was like, oh, but that's impossible, it can't happen. For me, I always looked at it like this. When you think about journalism, right? If you're a journalist and you write an article, it's up to you to make sure your source is legit. If you write an article full of faulty information, and then then people disprove your article, you then can't then throw the source of your investigation underneath the bus. Be like, well, he lied to me. It's up to you as a journalist to do the proper research to make sure when you drop a video covering certain content that the stuff that's in there is correct. It's up to you to, if you want to write an article, to make sure the stuff that goes into your article is correct. So then when it came to the profile, to me it's the same thing. How many people on this live stream feel like that Jordan Ray wrote his own JBA profile and posted it to the JBA website? Or do you think that they had somebody else do it? So it's the same thing. If Jordan Ray don't have the login information to the JBA website, he could turn in any information he want. If you submit a resume to a company and you could tell them that you work for Apple, you work for Google and all of this, and if they don't fact check it, it's on them. So when somebody posted to the website, it's not on Jordan Ray, it's on who is not checking that information to make sure it's correct. Okay, now once you get that information up there, so that's the same thing I feel like, where people were kind of jumping out the window about like, oh my God, this article said this and it's not true, and this website said this is not true. Because at the end of the day, then people wanted Jordan to be able to change or go back, and I was telling folks that people probably knew a long time ago that if the information wasn't correct, that they could have changed it, but folks just chose not to do it. So it just wasn't that important to the people who potentially could have done it. And the thing about this is, when you think about the brand or the credibility of the league, if you look at a guy like LeVar Ball, once again, do you think LeVar Ball is the person who is uploading bios to the JBA page, I doubt it. So when I hear people be like, well, it's probably a scheme or something from the JBA trying to promote him as a younger player and to get the ball, it don't make sense to me, because I don't think that LeVar Ball was like, yeah, I got this Jordan Ray kid, I'm going to adjust his bio a little bit, and then so we can, have, so that we could, boost the ratings or do whatever this conspiracy theory is about that. All right. And then also, at this time, and then especially after the season was over, because that was the thing I got once the season was over, JBA USA had ended, people were like, well, the bio, somebody could go back and fix it. And then I'm like, even if the person who has access to that wanted to go back and fix it, like, it would be, first question would be why, what's the point? And then also, who's going to pay him to do it? Probably nobody. So with all of that information out, now I want to go back and give you like a timeline of events. So when we were still in JBA USA when this information about the draft combine came out, right? And there was a lot of folks who were like, that sounds a little suspicious, because they do not typically release the information for the combine until at about this point of the year. So I went and I talked to Jordan Ray at that time, and what I got from him was there were people who he was dealing with who was presenting him with an opportunity of, yo, bro, if you keep hooping the way you hooping, we're going to try to do what we can to make sure you can you get your time to shine. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of how that was presented to me at that time, or that's kind of how I took it. Now, I thought maybe at that moment that because, Jordan Ray is the showman that he is, he was taking advantage and was like, yo, I got this opportunity but potentially coming out, dropped that to somebody, and then everybody else went off and ran with it, which you got from these different websites, you got from these different video vlogs or whatever who ended up covering this topic. And so that's kind of what I took from it at the moment. Then me and him did an interview. He kind of spoke on it a little bit. He was still proud of it, still excited about it. I thought it was a dope opportunity. Then after JBA USA ended, I came home and somebody hit me in my DMs in like November. I think it was like November 29th or the 30th or something like that. And somebody was like, bro, I just want to let you know it's some information about to come out about Jordan Ray. Some information about to come out about Jordan Ray, and it's not gonna look good for the league. And I was like, all right, so what's up, man? Tell me about it. So then he wrote me this long passage about all of the things that that people were saying were not 100% true about Jordan, and how he was gonna, they were gonna expose him. He told me to go check this Twitter. It gave me all this information. This is back in November, right? And the thing that really caught me off guard is that he was like, normally, Jordan is the type of dude who stretched the truth a little bit, but this NBA Combine invite thing, you know what I'm saying? He's starting to get too big now. It's starting to go too far. And what popped into my head was, if you ever seen that movie Belly, there's a scene where old boy is out there and he from Nebraska and he eating a banana. He eating a banana, and as he eating a banana, he said, "Damn, I don't like that shit. I'm about to drop a dime on them niggas." And that's what went through my head, is that it felt like a lot of folks who were around him was looking at him having a bit of success and was like, nah, bro, we about to drop the whole dime on this dude. So to me, just on the count of that, I just felt like the motives behind like why people wanted to expose this, to me, didn't feel like it was justifiable or right or worth my time or me trying to. So I hit Jordan up on Twitter. I said, yo, bro, there's some folks around here shopping some information on you, so be on the lookout, because they probably gonna drop some videos, calling your character into question. And then he said to me, I ain't worried about it, because people only hate when you're doing something big. people only are worried about you when you are onto something special. And I was like, you 100% right, because there are a lot of guys in the JBA who are doing a lot of dope things and nobody talks about it. You got Harrison Rieger playing ball in El Salvador. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's as interested about this than they is that. You got Dion Lau, who is having a whole basketball conference or convention for kids in his community. Nobody's doing no videos about that. People not hitting me up all day on Twitter like, yo, give me more information on the Dion Lau thing. You got ISO Rail starting his own AAU team. You got Montrell Dixon playing overseas in a few different leagues. You have Bam Bam Linnell Watson playing pro basketball somewhere else. It's just a lot of stories right now with these guys in the JBA, and you don't have as amount of coverage. And I believe it's the same thing that Jordan Ray was talking about, is that people only care because they see him potentially moving in a way that they're envious of, right? And which, you know what I'm saying, we see that story all of the time. So that's why I didn't jump on it and be like, man, I'm gonna make all these videos exposing the truth. Because for one, I really didn't care if it was false or fiction, because if it was not true, then like it definitely served its purpose, because there were like legit sports writers like, who is this Jordan Ray kid? Just got an NBA Combine invite. There's articles and videos, all of this stuff about what he was happening. So he definitely rose his profile up a decent amount. You started to see Ballers Light. All of these people started to follow him. So to me, if I could see how stretching the truth for him would be worth it if that's what he did. All right. Then go on months later, and then this video drops from DKM, the first video that he had where he was threatening to expose Jordan Ray on his next video if he didn't do an interview with him. What's good, DJ Sports Talk? And then the Big Baller Brand All-American game comes out, and then after that's over, you then get the video where he is then exposing Jordan Ray for not doing the interview with him, when actually in between the time of his first video and the exposing video, he never even reached out to him on Twitter or Instagram, according to Jordan, and said, hey bro, you know, let's do an interview or something like that. The idea was, I'm going to expose him, he's going to see this and then feel like, yo, I got to run over here. He's like, then I'm going to run over here and do this interview. Then what ended up happening after he did the exposed video, then Jordan Ray, he sent me a message, and I didn't even know that the second video had came out. And then Jordan sent me a message on Twitter like, bro, who is the DKM dude lying about me and all of this stuff? And I was like, shoot, I don't know. I went and watched it, and then I talked to Jordan, and I advised him. I said, bro, he's strictly doing this to leverage an interview out of you for views. You know what I'm saying? And then Jordan was like, yeah, you right, bro. I ain't even gonna worry about it. And then he went and did the interview, which part of what I was told the stipulations is he would take down the other videos if Jordan did an interview with him on his channel. So it's probably better to have that interview up than to have two videos of somebody calling you a fraud and a fake. So I get the whole thing. But it's also one of those things where even when I watched the video where old boy was talking about he was exposing him, he like had these clip snippets of like comments that I had said or things that I had said in there, as in the truth of the matter, it's like, I don't know if this is true. I feel like people hide. And it is so crazy to me because it was never that serious. Like this ideal of like, oh man, if he is 21 as opposed to 19 or 20, then that's going to hurt his ability to get drafted in the NBA. Like that to me is just BS. It's a long shot. This is what I've been saying from the jump. one of these guys making the jump from the JBA after how short it was and how it went down to the NBA would be like the type of story that you would have to go and make a movie about. So it's already a long shot for that to happen. Then if you're so concerned with somebody's ability to get to the next level and you don't and you need them to tell the truth and you're trying to advise them on that, you don't then go make a video about exposing them and then how fraud and all of this stuff if you're trying to then help the NBA draft stock. So to me, it just felt like a lot of people with these negative ulterior motives seeking out an opportunity to, like a lot of y'all saying in the comments right now, get a little bit of extra clout, you know what I'm saying, get a little extra interview and some views and all of these things of that nature. And to me, I don't think that that's a negative thing, right? Because that's the environment that we live in today, right? Where views equal money. And if you out here trying to get some money to feed yourself and your family, you know what I'm saying, some of us resort to shitty things. I grew up in the south side of Tallahassee. I got family members who do things way worse for money than make YouTube videos trying to get a little clickbait and some clout chasing, you know what I'm saying? And I love them just the same. I know people who do things way worse for money and then clout and all of that than lying about their height on their profile. And that's the thing too, people keep talking about that like, oh, you're not really 6'4". You know how many basketball players lie about their height? I was watching a video yesterday where it was showing Lou Williams when he was in the McDonald's All-American game, and he was 6'1". He was 6'1", and they said that on the paper said he was 6'3", and the commentators were talking about how they stood next to him. He really wasn't 6'3", he was 6'1". That's sports. When I played sports in college, I listed myself at about 6 deuce, and then but I feel like I'm really closer to about 6'1". But I say, man, when I put my cleats on, I'm 6'2". Like that building up your resume is when sports is just like a part of the game. That's just been around since like sports was a thing. That's why they have things like the NBA Combine and the NFL Draft Combine, because we need to know how fast can you really run, how tall are you for real, how much can you really lift weights, because everybody is on paper an inch or two taller. Everybody's an inch or two heavy. I mean, a couple pounds heavier or a couple pounds lighter, depending on which way it benefits you. Everybody's stats and information is a little bit better than what they better than what they would be unless you can validate it. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Sports always lies about everything, bro. And what also really messed with me too about the situation is that when you're looking at it from the inside, you realize that as a fan, you really don't know anything, right? Even the stories that you get from the media around the game are stories that people pick to share with you. There's so much more happening in this whole thing that you don't even know about, that like when people find out about this one little small thing, I'm like, that's really what you care about? It's just like I've been saying, it's just one of these things, right, where if you go back to my videos, like LaMelo Ball going to high school, right? Everybody who was in the JBA USA tour knew LaMelo Ball was going back to high school probably 2 weeks before the world found out. Maybe even more than that. But everybody in the world found out about it the way that people wanted people to find out about it. The reasoning behind that, people found out whatever reason people wanted to find out about it. And so when I think about, so with that, I'm saying, like, whatever you think you believe about these sports stuff and these stories and these people's lives, most of it ain't true anyway. And the stuff that you 100% know for a fact, the media, I talk about this all the time with the media and your boy LeVar Ball. DKM, what's good is you will go through, you'll see they'll talk about him as if he's this terrible person. That is the narrative that the media then will paint for you. But then if you meet him, you'll see, damn, that's really not the type of guy he is. You'll hear the interview that I talked about with Lonzo when he says, like, you know, the media thinks that I can't talk to my dad, but honestly, I can talk to him about any and everything. So that's what I'm saying, is that everybody thinks that they have the story, and like the truth of the matter is that you potentially do not have the story. There's so many things that happen behind the scenes of the JBA that, like, if people knew about it, if you're talking about exposing, or you want to like really have some clickbait, like if that ever got out, like folks would be so thirsty over it, it'd be ridiculous. But those stories don't get out. You only get the information that you want to know. Throughout the season, they have teams, people changing rosters here and there and this, and people like, man, what's going on with that? Why ain't nobody, what happened to such and such? What happened? There's stories behind all of that. There's conversations behind all of that, but you don't get to know that. You only get to know the stuff that is meaningless. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear people care about this Jordan Ray thing at his age, but then not be as infuriated or not even just his age, but the draft combine or all of this other stuff, but then not care about all of these other things that they could potentially be caring about, to me, it just really just feels like some shit that I really didn't want to talk about. And actually, I ended up talking about, I said this video is going to be between 10 and 15 minutes, and now we almost at 37. So what I'm going to do, man, is I'm going to take the next 3 minutes to get this a 30-minute video, and then I'm going to shut it down. So if y'all got some questions, you know what I'm saying, let me know. Why is the BBB site down? There's many different reasons why that is down at the moment. Some folks believe that it's down because they're revamping it and coming out with a new site. Some other folks believe that they just shut that thing down just because they, you know what I mean, it's over with. I think that is potentially a bit of both. What I feel like, you can cop some BBB right now, actually on eBay. What I think is a bit of both. I think that there are people who, there was a group effort to put the merchandise and the site together. So when you split up, you have to figure out where and how much of this came from this person, how much of this came from that person. And if you take one of those people out, you have to find somebody to fulfill the other side. So that's what the deal with the site is. Where's Greg Floyd Jr. at now? I'm not sure, man. I hope Greg Floyd is playing ball somewhere. And I think that with him, man, the kind of the thing that sucks for me about the whole thing and the way the JBA ended potentially is like there's nobody who should be advising these guys. Greg Floyd should be playing professional basketball somewhere at this moment. He should have an agent. He should have somebody helping him get on the team. If Greg Floyd is still somewhere not playing basketball, then like that's something that folks should be up in arms about and really concerned about, because he is a hooper. I was talking to some of the players the other day, and a lot of them still don't even have agents yet. A lot of them still are waiting for the JBA to come back around and save everybody, and I don't think it's going to happen. But so I don't know. So that's just kind of one of my thoughts, man. And I think that honestly, I think it says a lot about these young guys in like how dope they are and how loyal they are, because they could be very upset about it, and they could be doing some things to like put people in bad situations because they're contractually obligated to play JBA for 2 years, and with that they're supposed to be getting certain things that they haven't gotten yet, a lot of them. And then when you think about a lot of the names of people who were signed up as board members or affiliated with the league in some way, all of those people, not just LeVar, has like kind of left them to their own devices at this point. So I don't know, man. I think that folks should like, you know what I'm saying, be looking for more information on that, man, and reaching out to some of these young dudes and showing them some support in a positive way. Exactly. Why are these players being left? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a tough. That's the tough part of it, man. Make sure while y'all in here, man, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Drop some comments in here as well, and I'm gonna hop off here, man. Let me see. I may do, cause if I might watch this back, and if it's the stream didn't go well, man, I might re-upload this a little bit later as a video. But we'll see. People coming in late, so let me give y'all some shout outs though. King Beats, what's up, man? You jumped straight in here. The Goods, what's up? You been from the top too. Oluwabari Fale, what's happening? Yeah, you might have that Walmart internet connection. The Goods, man, the real thing. Jordan Ray is 22 right now. My cousin used to play against him. I'm not saying he is not good, but he's not 19-year-old. Let's be real. So I'm saying, like, if he was, to me, that wouldn't matter, right? If he was 19, if he was 22 playing against a bunch of like 18, 17-year-olds, then I would be like, all right, bro, that matters. But the truth of the matter is, when he was playing basketball in the JBA, regardless of his age, he was amongst his peers. Then when he went overseas and played in the JBA USA, he was amongst people older than him as well. So like the age argument, you know what I'm saying, like, is not that crazy of that's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme, because it's not like he was playing down with younger kids, or in most of those scenarios he was still playing up. What's up with Jello? I expect to see Jello playing basketball sometime soon, man. I think that people, I've said this several times. Exactly, you gotta love it. I said it several times, man. I think that people don't realize that a lot of the opportunities that they think were not offered to him were offered. He just didn't take them because he was going a different path. So when you think about the G League and all of that, opportunities to go do the G League stuff, he just was doing the JBA USA stuff. So it's some time, man. I think that we'll see him play basketball over the summer or next season somewhere for sure, especially if he's in shape and ready to go. But folks, this is your main man, AB the Hero. I'm finna hop up off here. It's been real. Peace.